Hello everybody, this is FireMaiden at the Crafty Cauldrons with this week's book review. This week we're doing Cakes and Ale for the Pagan Soul. It's edited by Patrictia Telesco, but it has material in it from Oberon Zell, Starhawk, Dorothy Morison, Selena Fox. There's a bunch of different stories in here, because it does read a lot like your regular chicken soup book. It has the different sections, and it has different stories from each of them. Some of them have some spell work, some of them don't. Let's see, we have the Path of Beauty, Wisdom of the World, Nature's Advisors, Community, Honor, Respect, and Gratitude, Rituals for Life, Health Spells, and other sundries? My brain stopped. It's really hard to do a basic review on this book because there's so many stories and so many of them can be really personal. So I'm gonna go with that approach and go with some ones that were very personal for me and that did a lot for me. This is one, Facing Your Fear by Bonnie Jean Hamilton. I have had arachnophobia for I don't know how long. And don't get me wrong, I still do. The little bad word I'm not going to say. They scare the crap out of me. They really do. But a few years ago, I could not be in the same room with a spider this big and not freak out and jump up on a couch like a 1920s black and white movie squealing over a mouse. I mean, it was bad. And this particular story got me to face that fear. They actually used in their example, because at the end of most of these they have spell work or activities you can do, and this one actually used spiders as an example. And they talked about how they're children of the goddess, and one day I went out in my backyard, went to the deck, I'm looking at a snake, what I think is a snake hole, and instead a giant, big as my hand, burrowing wolf spider crawls out and scared the bejesus out of me, and I started running and I said, no. Turned around and forced myself to stare that spider down. And every time it moved, I started freaking out. I'm sitting there going, Child of the Goddess, Child of the Goddess, Child of the Goddess, Child of the Goddess! Trying to keep myself from running away, which I eventually did. Point is, though, is that in the end, this story helped me get over that. Enough that I actually sometimes catch spiders I find in my house in cups and take them outside rather than squish them. Which, I can do that too. I know, I shouldn't actually kill them. But I do on occasion. Which is something I could not have done before. Another one, this was one that I just found really touching, And the Children Shall Lead Us by Patrictia Telesco, which is a story where she recalls something she actually went through with Janet Farrer about this little girl that kind of got in on this tradition type thing they'd started where, you know, kind of a pass it forward type thing. Patrictia had a necklace that she gave to Janet, and Janet gave it to this little girl who kind of stepped forward and took a priestess position in a sort of difficult situation. It's a very touching story, and, you know, it just kind of gave me a little glimmer of, you know, what my kids might go through and be when I finally do have children of my own. The next one was The Burden Basket by Jesse Wolfe Hardin. I think it's actually a retold story. It's about Kokopelli and the basket that he carries on his back. And at the time, I had a lot going on in my life. And this story just goes over, you know, Kokopelli carrying around everybody's burdens on his back. And goes over talking about, you know, your own burden basket. And what do you willingly or unwillingly carry around in your life that you really need to just let go of and get rid of. And this next one I'm going to go over actually kind of has to do with that too. Because that story made me bawl. Big old dime-sized tears. But the next one did it a little worse. Healing with Magic by Jamie Wood. And that would be this part down here, the forgive someone. I have been through, we'll just say, some difficult shit, pardon my French, with my stepdad. And this story, was not something I could do at the time. I could not let myself forgive him, and I had to put the book down because it was something that affected me so much. But now, rereading this book, 'cause I've read this whole book cover to cover 3 times now, and it's something I think I can do now, and it's something that, you know, is going to end up being important, and it's just really going to affect my life a lot. And that's what a lot of these stories do. A lot of these stories, to some extent, are something that you're going to be able to relate with. Something that is going to help you in some way. And the people on the cover, it says "and more" down there. There are so many well-known and prominent figures in the pagan community, are leaders, if you will, that are in this book, and they share their wisdom, and they share their stories. And they're all things that can touch you, but there's at least a few in here that are going to touch you in a personal way that really help you at some point in your life. And I never actually read any of the Chicken Soup books, but I have been told by many people that those books did the same thing for them, especially teenagers, such as the tough stuff situations in the books. So this book kind of does the same thing. It's something that's going to help you in one way or another, and I do encourage everybody to get it and to read it, because it's an amazing book, and I can't even begin to express in this video how much this book has helped me. So I obviously give all high scores for this book, and I would suggest getting it. And as always, you can find it on Amazon, you can find it on eBay. There will be a link below to the Amazon where you can get this book. And I hope you enjoyed this video, that it helped you out, and that you make it here next week for our next video. Thank you so much, and blessed be.